So you're about to do a water belt timing belt job on your Subaru Sti. Watch this video, because we all know another timing belt video could not possibly be bad. First question we might ask, do you need a long reach trolley jack to jack up the front of the car? Well, let's try it out, okay? I'm gonna only use the half of the extension here. Let's see if we can put it under here and pump it up without using the other half of the extension. So it is fully possible to lift this thing without using an extension handle. Just another point. Here's the jacking point under the front cross member, and the jack stands are up on the frames. Okay. While the radiator is draining, let's do some of the other stuff. So I discovered with this crank holder tool, these bolts don't slide in very easily, but they're not threaded, so you do have to use a rubber mallet. Just hit it in hit it in there, make sure it goes far enough. The other question is if you can fit a 1/2-inch impact in there, and the answer is no. Moving the AC condenser, there's no way you can fit this impact in here. You see, it hits. It looks very close, but it just won't go. You see, just not enough. Even if you try to sneak it in there, you'll hit the condenser. So if there's a way to remove this, I would rather do that, but I feel like because of all these hard lines, probably not worth it. And at least on this car, it wasn't too hard. I broke it with 2 hands, with the wrench rested on the frame here. There's no wires there, it's just a little pinch weld there. I broke it free. I'm not a strong guy, but I broke this free with 2 hands. It not even as hard as an axle nut, I would say. It's because I didn't take the nut out all the way. Dummy. Wow, that's a long bolt. There we go. Oh, this bolt's in very good condition. Reuse. There you go. Just interesting thing. There's a key, so you can't really put it in the wrong way. Last bolt of the left timing cover. Okay. All right. Now there's 2 more. There's 2 more here which are left sitting because I know could be rusted. Okay, this is a hammer-on. think that's the last one. There should be one underneath, I would imagine. Okay. Will it come off? No, there's still something underneath. Okay, I have to go underneath. See you in a minute. So another thing, make sure you have a whole plethora of extensions. Because if you don't, you got a really long one, you might hit the condenser. You got ones that are too short, then you'll not reach behind this one. So be careful of that too. You have to have tools, but you have to have a lot of tools to do this. Well, not a lot of tools, but just, you know, a variety of different extensions. You need 3/8 sockets, you need 1/4-inch ones. It gets expensive if you don't already have them. Here's coming, you see the anchor just peel off. That one almost became a situation. It was really crusty. And I think it's off, but come on. Okay. Now something else is holding on. Is there another one? Oh yes, there is one more. There is one more, of course. And that's up here. Alright, that's it. Okay. See that one? That's okay. This one I used the other 10mm. I think it's just long enough. You can see it over here. One right under there. Let's go and get that one. Let's see how far in this goes. It goes in about this far. So hidden timing cover bolts. So I got it out, but this is what happened. This bolt, I mean this is from the back side, but from the front side, it just kept spinning because the insert, or where it goes, starts spinning inside the plastic because the bolt is so badly rusted. So it's not too bad. I mean there's some damage on the back of the timing cover, but we probably can't fix that now. The back of the timing cover snapped. This I was hoping to pull this thing out with it, but it didn't work. But anyways, it's just one out of. So the first thing Subaru says is to remove the skip guard in each of the corners to make the timing belt removal easy. I think also you have to remove the skip guard because you can't really see the timing mark without the skip guard coming off, so you have to remove it. And the reason why I'm changing my belt is because this car is long overdue for the belt, and you can see, I don't know what these marks are, but like you can see cut marks inside the belt, all along the belt everywhere. So I mean nothing really looks bad shape, but the belt itself looks bad. So this is why it's due for a change. Okay, so let's start with following the instructions. So I lined it up as best I can, right? timing marks. I hope you can see. Bring it down. Right there. Right in line. But on this side, you see here, zoom out. We got a slight misalignment here, I think, right? I mean, it's almost there. I'm just being picky. There's a little bit off. You can see the intake and the exhaust cam not exactly lined up. Probably because this belt is old, it's stretched. The other side is fine. So now we're gonna proceed to put on the cam lock tool. Okay, I'm gonna take those cam covers off and put the lock tool inside. Now note, I took the cap off and you see behind it, there's an O-ring. Now, for the life of me, when I go to the Subaru Parts Online site, I cannot find this O-ring. And Subaru says in the instruction, actually every time this cam cap comes off, you should replace this O-ring. Well, I can see why, because the oil does come out of it. There's another one in here on the exhaust side. There's a big one. So I don't know, to me it feels good. It feels like they're still like sticking out, and if I put the plate back on, I don't think it would leak. But then again, I'm gonna call up Subaru before I reassemble and and ask them if they have this O-ring for sale. If they do, I might as well just replace it. But if they don't, I don't think there's much of a risk. And besides, on the other thing to note is that this is not too hard to open. You don't need to take the timing belt all the way off or any of this stuff off just to access these two cams, because the cover, the timing cover for this side is actually very easily removable, and you could probably do this this O-ring if you needed to without draining coolant or anything. All you got to do is remove the the coolant expansion tank here, and you will have enough access to remove these bolts and take those caps off. So my friends, my neighbors, you probably watching this video because you're wondering, do you actually need a cam lock tool holder like this? Well, in many of the videos I watched, even from professional shops, they don't use this tool. So what you're actually afraid of, you know, why I was afraid of doing this initially without the tool, is because in so many videos we see the cam gears actually slip as soon as you loosen the timing the idle pulleys and things out of this. As soon as you loosen it, it spins. Now, Subaru doesn't mention a need to use a tool like this, and my thought is they're probably right. They built the engine, they know. But what this tool is for is to aid in the ease of the install of the belt, because you're fiddling around with it, it might shift and jump on you, right? So having something to hold this is a much better idea. Now, if it slips, Subaru does have instructions on their manual here on how to get it back into the right place. Okay, so I printed it all out here. And also just to let you know that the factory manual also has a sequence in which they want you to remove the pulleys, and there's a reason for that. Okay, there's a purpose to everything they write. So basically what they're saying is, when you remove the timing belt, the danger is this: it's not from the piston hitting the pistons hitting the valves. It's because in this service position, the pistons are halfway between the top dead and bottom dead center. So there's no way the pistons will hit it. But here's the kicker here, right? They've got all these instructions to say, do not allow the camshaft to rotate in the direction shown in the upper figure. Doing this may cause both intake and exhaust valves to lift simultaneously, resulting in mutual interference of the valve heads. Okay, so it's saying, you notice here, do not turn the top one counterclockwise, and do not turn the exhaust one clockwise. Okay, and there's a reason for this. Now, I've been researching this for a couple of weeks here, looking at every possible video, and this is what I think from my research. Okay, now if you notice, okay, the Subaru instructions never said anything about holding the cams in place, right? So the assumption is that when you take off the belts, it's going to spring, okay? And the direction that it will spring, the intake cam will spring counterclockwise. The exhaust cam will spring clockwise. And there's a reason for this, okay? My thought is because either cylinder 2 or 4 is in its exhaust stroke, okay? And in particular, you know, as the piston is moving up, right? And if it's halfway, that means it's almost, it's halfway complete its exhaust stroke, which means that the exhaust cam is closing. So at this position where everything is in the right time, the exhaust cam is closing. The intake cam is starting to open. That is why you can see in the diagram here, right? The cam lobes are like this. They're not necessarily in this position, but what I'm saying is that you can imagine when these cam lobes, the intake, if it's trying to push the intake valve open, then basically there's going to be spring pressure pushing it back, right? And so the engine rotates in the clockwise direction from this perspective. It's clockwise. So it's in a phase where the intake is about to open, or it's riding on this cam lobe. So if the belt comes off, what happens is it will tend to snap backward in timing. So that is counterclockwise, okay? Now, the exhaust is a different story because the exhaust one is closing. And so it's riding on the end of the end of the peak of the cam lobe here. So the only place it's gonna go is gonna rotate forward in timing, okay? And so Subaru knows that, okay? They said don't mess with don't try to turn these things, right, independently, okay? If you let it spring, it is okay. And not only that, when it springs back, you see the bottom image? You'll notice this, right? The timing mark shows that the intake has rotated counterclockwise, just as I said, okay? And you need to make a clockwise turn to correct it. And here on the exhaust, it has shifted forward in timing. You can tell by the double mark, it's shifted from here to here, so it's rotated clockwise. So all you gotta do, Subaru says, if you get into this situation, which you will without the cam lock tool, is to simply do the exhaust first, rotate it counterclockwise so that the double marks are on top, right? And the cam gear on the right side is lined up on the case. And then after that, you will rotate the intake cam clockwise to get it back into position, right? And don't worry that you see in the picture, like it actually sprung pretty far, right? You see the double mark, it ended up, boom, like here. Actually, it didn't spin very far. It just moved like less than a quarter turn here, right? So that's as far as it should go, right? Don't go any farther. So here, just correct it in the order specified. Now, so put a note that I don't think this is actually necessary, but we try to do our best to not let it move. Okay. This is not the company 23 tool. It's kind of flimsy. I think I'll take the spacer out and see what happens. I did take the spacer out, This thing, I don't know what it's for. Maybe it's for the ones that don't have the dual AVCS cam. I don't know. Maybe they go in a little bit more or less. I don't know. So took it out. It seems to work better. I'm gonna see if I can adjust the timing mark here, even with the belt on. It might work because well, we can adjust it later. Okay, so here goes. Now we're gonna take the, make sure it doesn't come out. Okay, we're gonna take the first cog out, which is what they say. Which one? First cog. Okay, here. The first one they say is this bottom idler here. From out of the 4 ones that you'll remove, it's this one first, then this one, then the little one on the right, and then the tensioner, and then finally the bottom one here, the large one. So that's the order we'll go in. Let's give that a try. Here goes nothing. Cross your fingers. Oh, this is tight. I'm gonna wear gloves. It's just at the right length where this clip will get you. Okay. Okay, crack loose. Crack. Might as well do the last one. Okay. Now that it's loose, let's just take them out. It's actually not that tight, surprisingly. I thought it would be like super tight. The last one here. I guess this belt is really stretched beyond its life. And the tensioner is probably bad too. We'll take a look at it when I got it out. Okay, here we go. Let the fun continue. The belt is slack already. And actually, when A is removed, oh, okay, the belt comes off already before this one even comes. So let's take this one off. The off. Okay, tensioner went down as expected. Okay, now let's take the rest of it off. Out. Nice bolt. Bearing. Oh, this one makes noise. Is it my glove? Hold on a second. Nope, it's not my glove. This one's a little bit starting to get rough. There. Watch the timing belt snap and jump now. Nope, because the lot holder is in place. It's almost time for lunch. I'm probably gonna take a break, but for you guys, it'll be continuous. Okay, so this is simple. We'll come back and take a break for lunch, and we'll do the water pump. Okay, to be fair, I'll take this off just to show you that we're not snapping, right? We're not snapping. We've been careful, it doesn't snap. We've been careful. Very careful. I'm not using my hands there. I'm going to use a glove just in case. So does this tool work? I guess. Right. Don't snap, don't snap, don't snap. Okay, there we go. No snapping. And here's the belt. And why I'm changing it. You see these skip marks? I don't know what it's caused by. And this glazing. It looks like it's been running against the, well, maybe it hit the skip guard. That's the only thing I can tell from this run, right? But it's not just in one spot. It's in multiple spots. The belt is strong. But, you know, I wasn't the first owner of this car. It's very possible someone, I don't know, this is caused by launches, you know, launching the vehicle. As most people do with these cars. I don't do it, but yeah, let me know in the comments. Have you seen this before? All right, water pump is next. Let's start by removing the lower rad hose. Okay, it's gonna take a bit, I bet. Look at the corrosion on it. I can get this one open. Okay, all the way down here. All right, and just twist. I thought it was leaking. And how can it be so tough to get out? Just break that seal in there. Right? It's so tough to get out, but yet you are leaking. So amazing, right? What you can leak through. Okay, let's try it now. There we go. It's coming. Okay. Okay, there we go. That's the lower rat hose. Now, I'm not going to break it because if I got the wrong one, that wouldn't be very good for replacement. Okay. Let's get this one. Probably a whole lot of more coolant will come out. After that, okay. This one, I'm going to snake this behind here. Maybe I have to come from the top to get that one. Let me try from the top. Just hook it from behind here. Yeah, almost got it. Yeah, there we go. Rotate it this way maybe. Yes. Okay. taking it off. Just rather taking it off might have an advantage here. Maybe I can get the hose out better. And take it off. Okay, let's just do it. Let's take it off. The water pump is kind of a pain to get out because actually there's hoses coming in from the right and from the left. So best thing is to take the bracket, center bracket off and just push the hose out on the left first. And then take care of the right side. You can just use a big old screwdriver to pry on top of this housing and it'll get the hoses off. So I got the water pump out. It's just really a kind of a puzzle. Anyways, this is why they say change the water pump, because look at it. The impeller is kind of hard to move, right? It's kind of hard to spin. I don't know, it's a little stiff. There isn't any play. It might still be good, I don't know. But you know, the bearings probably would go. Anyways, yep. So that's how you take it out. So my neighbors, it's getting dark and my phone ran out of battery. So I got the water pump in, torqued it to the right specs, 8.9 foot-pounds with the torque wrench. And now it's getting dark, so we gotta finish this job. We gotta put the timing on. So I checked, lined up the marks. I got everything lined up perfectly. I held it with binder clips. It's very difficult to see. I used the mirror for all the sides. Now it's just trying to install the timing gear set now. So Subaru is ordering what this is: the tensioner, and then the idler gear, the one with teeth on it, and then the one on the top left, and one on the top right, which you can see this is 18 foot-pounds on this diagram. It's 18, you can see. They want you to then install the one down here. So the bottom left side when you're facing the engine, and then you pull the pin. Okay, so that's the order. Just note, in the Aisin kit TK-004, this is the tensioner is the only one that comes with its own it's basically its own screw. Okay, and make note that there is a washer and an O-ring on this, so make sure it came off of the original position here, to make sure that it's not like stuck in there or something, because if it is, then it's not gonna torque right. Okay, just gotta go with my hand first. This is a 14. Okay, so that goes here. Yeah, it's right there. These are bigger bolts. I doubt they'll slip. Doubt they'll strip, but always a good idea just to put it in by hand. Okay. Looks good. This one. Next one, the gear. Okay, the one that's has the machine surface protruding is the inside. got the idler number 2, which is this one on the left. Okay, on the left side. Just push the exhaust timing out of place, but that doesn't matter. The exhaust one is trivial to line up. Okay, and tighten. Now they want us to do, after this one, they want us to do the small one. Okay. Yeah, there's no damage. My ground is soft. Okay, let's put this in here. I can already feel a little bit of tensions. I like to snug them in with the wrench before using the torque wrench. These are 29 foot-pounds. Okay, that I feel the tension there already. Okay. Okay. All right. Now I'll do the little one. I just don't like using the torque wrench because it's actually a much bigger tool. So I feel it first. Okay, now this one's calibrated to focus 29 foot-pounds. Okay, tighten it down. Click. Clicked. And then the bottom one. The thing with using a bigger tool at the beginning is that the wrench can actually spin. It can go in an angle, and when it goes in an angle, you can cross thread things really easily. So this one's 18.4. Okay, 18 foot-pounds. This is the one people break. We're not breaking things today. Clicked. That's it. Now, next thing, we're gonna set the timing right, and then after setting the timing right on the exhaust, we will put in the we shall put in the stuff. Okay, so my neighbors, I've gotten to this point where I installed all the cam gear, sorry, not the cam gears, I installed the timing belt and all the cogs on this thing, and I've lined it up as best I could, and I've already pre-rotated this thing twice just to check it over, as most other videos tell us to do. Now I noticed though, when I rotated it, I installed everything perfectly. I triple checked everything, and then I rotated it around. But when I got around 2 times around, things didn't look exactly dead on straight anymore. Not that they didn't look dead on straight, it just didn't line up. My left, the left cam here did not line up exactly to the timing mark on the case. Okay, and in order to get it to line up exactly on the case, I had to shift the just a hair on the crank, just turn it over just a little bit. All right, exhaust now also looks good, right, when the timing marks. Now just one thing, if you get to this point in doing this job and you have some doubts, right, the main thing is that if you follow the instructions in Subaru's manual, you should be okay. Now, especially in regards to having this lined up, starting with this one, putting the crank at the service position, which is under the mark on the right here on the oil pump. The crank mark is like this one right here. If you get it here and you get the cams all here and lining up with the timing on time mark on the timing cover and the bottom as well, see these match right over here, and they all match. And if you do it during the installation of the new belt and the lines on the belt are aligned to the notches here on the gears, then you will most likely be okay. Okay, but here I'm going to show you, if you're afraid of letting this go, being a little bit wrong, let me show you the way this is the way that we do it. Okay, so Subaru actually provided everything in the service manual. This is a wonderful service manual. Everything written here was purposeful. Okay, so what you have to know, okay, the most accurate way to do this is, if you look at this, you need to count the teeth on the belt to be absolutely sure. Okay, so it's saying from the right intake cam gear all the way to this mark on the crank sprocket, the number of teeth on the belt must be 54.5 teeth. And then similarly from this side, this crank, to this left side intake cam gear, it must be, let's see here, 51 teeth. Now you can say, hey, how is this possible that you got 54.5 teeth? And this one you got 51 teeth. How can it be an odd number of teeth? Well, let me show you. So my neighbors, here's how it works. Okay, when you get the new belt, when you install it, you will notice there's something very subtle about it. Okay, the center crank where you're supposed to install the crank sprocket, this belt on top of this crank sprocket, is the mark on the timing belt with the dotted lines is actually the line is in between the two teeth. Okay, as well on this on the left hand side cam, it's also marked in between the teeth. Okay, now this is a lesson in counting. Okay, this is how you count the number of teeth. Now there's only a few teeth here. I'm just illustrating this one for you. This is how you count. Okay, you count from the first full tooth. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if this belt were on the actual motor, we know that this section should be 51 teeth. Okay, there should be 51 whole teeth until it hits this mark here. All right, now big question, how the heck do you count the half tooth? Well, this is how it's set up. On the right hand cam, you notice this tooth, this mark on that side is actually marked on the tooth itself. Okay, not in between. And this is how you count it. So now I think you know how the 0.5 is happening, right? So you go, this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and a half. All right, you understand how that happened? Because I'm marking this straight on the tooth, right? You're actually already saying it's already half the tooth there. Okay, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and a half. Okay, so when you actually go in and install this belt on top of this cam sprocket, there'll be a corresponding groove in here, right? In this one. So that's why you got 54.5 teeth, right? And the reason why we count the on the right side, on the left side this way, is you count the whole teeth, right? Because this one ends on a groove and this one starts on a groove. So therefore, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 whole teeth in between. Now, just to be million times sure, okay? I made marks, my own whiteout marks, realigning the cams. I put a mark on the belt, on the top top intake and the bottom exhaust cam, right? On both sides, left and the right side, because it's very difficult to see on the side. So now if I rotate the belt such that I'm sliding those 2 marks over, we should be able to count the belt's teeth more clearly. I've already counted the ones in from the cam to from the crank to the cams already, but I just want to count the cam to cam, the intake to exhaust cam, to make sure they're 28 teeth. Okay, so I'm gonna rotate it now so I can see the mark come over. Okay, so I'm gonna rotate it. So let's count this together, my friends. Okay, now if you want to use paint every 10 marks, that's good. Okay, that's a better trick. But let's try to do it on camera here. So let me zoom out. Okay, let's count it together. Okay, so starting from this mark, okay, which is on a tooth, so that means immediately the next tooth on that is already 1.5. Okay, so 1.5 to, so 1.5, 2.5, I'm just gonna say 3, I'm gonna add the 0.5 at the end. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's actually pretty dark in here. Okay, so start all over. I'm gonna count with my fingers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Now remember, this is 27 and a half actually. And then another half, 28. So, because this is marked on the tooth again, right? So it's a half. It's considered a half. So half and half, you add together, it's a whole, right? So this is 28. So with everything good now, it's time to put the thing back together. First, starting with the timing covers. Now it's nighttime, because who has time to work on their cars during the day? So we're going to put the crank back on. Hammer this in just a bit. So the tool will go in. Only us DIY wires work on cars at night. Real mechanics work on them during the day. Okay, so the procedure is to crank it, oil the crank bolt, which I did in the last shot. We're going to tighten it to 34.7 foot-pounds. I know it sounds like very little, but you'll see why. So we got this. Set my torque wrench to 34 and we'll put it in. Okay, that's 34. Now the interesting way Subaru wants us to do this thing is to use an angle. Okay, so after 34.7, they want us to do it using an either you have an angle gauge, which is very expensive, you know, on expensive torque wrenches, or you can do this trick. You can use the socket and mark 2 marks on the on each of the corners here, and that's approximately 60 degrees. So you take a white mark, white out, go like this. I don't have an angle gauge. I don't do this enough to warrant buying one. So let's draw a mark down here, that, and then one here. So that's approximately 60 degrees. It says plus or minus is okay. I doubt the, because this is an old bolt, it probably will not give me that amount of torque anyway. So I put it in here. Question is, I can't see it. That's the only problem. My socket's not long enough to see that. So I'll extend the line outward. Here. All right. Can't be 100% accurate. If this doesn't work, I set my big torque wrench on, I'll just set it on, you know. So just so you see, the way it works is that, so basically what's happening here is that I'll lower my camera so you can see. Now, that's the starting mark, and that's 60 degrees on the socket, exactly, right? On the tool, I put a 60-degree mark. So when I rotate when I tighten the crank bolt this clockwise, this first mark, we gotta be watching that, and it will arrive approximately at that white mark on the tool right now. Okay, so it should line up here. That should give us 60 degrees, and it should be the right torque. Okay, here goes. I'm gonna see if I am able to hold this. Okay, everything's in tight. This is one tight guy. Almost there. There we go. So what do you know? Subaru was almost dead on with their calculations. Over here. So, as you can see, I'm almost to 60 degrees. But on my torque wrench, it is set to 139 pounds. So, just to a good measure, I'm going to turn it to 60 degrees. Okay. Okay, more. There we go. That's all I need to do. Let's see where we're at. So down here, it's almost dead on. And on my torque wrench, What do we got here? On my torque wrench we have, let's take it out. Mm, 152 pounds. That's quite a lot, but it's okay. Better safe than sorry. It's not like it's too tight. It can't be too tight, right? Okay. So now to install the AC stretch belt with the special tool. In theory, this belt should be one-time use. And I actually don't want to install it right now because I haven't tested everything yet. But and perhaps I shouldn't install it. But if anything goes wrong now, I guess the engine will blow, and that wouldn't be fun. But this stretch belt is one-time use. I just feel like everything is okay. Everything's done. Don't have to worry. We followed the instructions, so we should be good in theory. Let's put this belt in here. There's that little hole that goes down to one of those 4 holes here. So I wanted to line this up at 45 degrees, which I'm having trouble now. Maybe just the angle. There we go. Angle or some crap like that. Okay. So Subaru says how to use this. You stick the bottom of the belt through that loop there. Okay. So like this. Right. Loop it in like this. And it should be into the groove. We need to have this at 45 degrees. Oh, oops, yeah, better now. Slip it through. Okay, that makes sense. Now it actually goes on. And what it says now is to place the tool through the loop. Okay. All right. Smart. So you have to put the torque wrench or the wrench through the hole here. Otherwise you'll get caught, right? I think of everything. Okay. And then I think it says rotate. Okay, rotate 90 degrees. So can I still use this long torque wrench? Because I don't have enough clearance, but yeah, it's fine. It's irrelevant, I guess. So, alright. Rotate until it is rotate until it's 90 degrees. The surface of the belt is held by the stopper. Okay. Alright, so let's torque down this first before cranking it. Let's torque it down and torque on the tool properly. So wouldn't want that to slip. I feel like this bolt hole is stripped because it's just spinning in there, not getting any tighter. And I'm not putting too much force on it at all. So I hope it's not a stripped out hole. Anyways, let's hope. Okay, so let's hold this in place and go slowly. I think the back of the belt should be okay. Let's see how it works. So by 90 degrees, let's check if the belt is seated good. Yep, seated good. Okay, around and around and around. Okay, now what is this? Okay, at 90 degrees. Is it still seated properly? Looks right. Looks right. Okay, so keep going. Okay, it's not sitting on the edge. Yep, it looks right. Okay, just keep going. Okay, keep going. Let's see the magic of this tool. And there we go. All right. So my neighbors, the car is all back together. Radiator's in. It's first fill up of the coolant. I haven't flushed yet. I have not started the engine yet. Everything is in order, and this is the first start. Now remember, we did this job to prevent the timing belt from slipping and breaking, or the tensioner to get loose and eventually, you know, destroy the belt and the engine get out of timing, piston crash into the valves, and etc. We did it to prevent that. Now, if we did anything wrong here, we're actually going to cause it. So it's an exciting moment. We're going to do a quick startup now. So now that we're done, let's go over about a little bit about something I learned, okay, about this job. The best thing to do if this is your first time, or maybe, you know, you've done it on other cars, but always this is a good thing to do. Make a checklist for yourself before you start, okay? So at each stage, I created a checklist, and I think this will help, okay? So the first one is pre-gears install. Before you install the sprockets and not sprockets, the idlers and idler gears, make sure your hydraulic tensioner is bled and that it kind of works. Okay, you can see that pin, you can see that that stub pushing in and out, and there's good tension on it, and it should move smoothly. So make sure you do that before you install anything actually, right? Pre-belt install. So before you even think of putting the belt on, this is what you should do, okay? In retrospect, I should have did it differently because that ends up wasting a lot of time. You can either count the teeth on the belt, each line on their new belt, okay? Because we know from the factory specs, it's 54.5 teeth from the right side mark. Sorry, if you're facing at it, it's from the left side to the center is 54.5 teeth. From the center to the right side is 51 teeth, right? So that's what you need to know on the belt. But in retrospect, talking with some mechanics to doing this, they usually just transfer their own marks onto the new belt, just in case, because at that point you can measure the belt and see that the new belt is exactly the same dimensions as the old one, because you don't know if when you order these things, maybe they give you the wrong belt, right? You got to check this yourself. So transferring the marks from the old belt onto the new one is an excellent idea, right? And counting the teeth, you have to know how to count the teeth, okay, in case things get a little bit messed up, like what I did, okay? I didn't get anything messed up, but I had some doubts. But if you have some doubts, you must know how to count the teeth, okay? So before your belt is installed, The belt is perfect. It's marked up perfectly, right? Double, triple, no matter how many times check you need to do that before you put this check mark on. Because I guarantee it, if you get this step right, all of the next, all of the following steps, you don't have to, you won't, you won't be worried so much that you did it wrong. This is the very, in terms of timing, this is the most important step. Okay. Now, after that, I gotta scratch out my other ideas. But if you have your pre-timing cover installed, so before you put your timing covers back on, make sure skip guards are installed correctly. Okay. Now this is a note. You need to use a feeler gauge on it to make sure it's within spec. Subaru spec is 1 millimeter, plus minus half millimeter. Okay, so you have to set that correctly. That's part of the timing system, belt system. I think the belt does tend to jump or move around, or has a tendency to do so. So if those things are not installed properly, if it's too tight, you'll rub. If it's too loose, then it can't save you in the case of a belt skip. Okay, it must be installed correctly. And the center one uses Loctite. Don't forget that. Rotate the engine 2 times gently. Okay, now the timing marks, this is only for you to verify that nothing is crashing inside the engine, just gently, so no valves or pistons are hitting. If you do it gently, you're guaranteed not to break anything, right? Now, this is not for necessarily for looking for the timing marks to come back. Okay, it won't come back exactly. Okay, this is the thing. But you don't have to worry as long as you've installed the belt correctly at the beginning, right? And as you're rotating, it didn't skip for some reason, and there's no crashing in there. This is going to be pretty much good. Okay, the timing backs, the marks will not come back exactly. They will be approximately, but they won't come back exactly. What is important is that the relationship between each of the cams and the crank sprocket is right. So 54.5 teeth between the right side cam and the center sprocket. Between the center and the left side cam has to be 51 teeth. Okay, that relationship is perfect. And also the relationship between the top and the bottom cam gears, 28 teeth. Okay, for both sides. That's what's important in this one. And then also after that, make sure everything is torqued. Okay. Now, pre-start, obviously, make sure the crank bolt is torqued properly, right? And your coolant is installed. Don't get too excited, or don't get thinking that, oh, I can test this without the coolant. That's not going to work. You're going to break your engine. Now, when you're done everything, you've done all the coolant, bleeding all the bubbles out of it and everything, which I still haven't done yet. Post-inspection, check the cam seal for leaking. So, actually Subaru does recommend to, when you open the cams, to install the tool for locking the cam gears in place, the cam sprockets in place. They do recommend to replace the O-rings there. Now I looked at mine, they still look perfectly round and fine, and they're not like brittle or anything. So fingers crossed here, right? But what I did was, I'm not going to install the well, here's the thing. You can install this the secondary air pump, the cover back, but you know what you can do is, well, you can install it. It doesn't take long to remove it. But after first running the car, I would reopen the timing cover here and check those cam plates, see if they're leaking, right? It doesn't take much to go and test that. And I think that if they are going to leak, they will leak almost immediately. So after I bleed this thing and run it a bit, I will check if it's leaking. Because if it does leak out, if the oil does kind of leak out, then you ruin your new timing belt. So it's worth it to check. And if And if it's leaking, you can replace them. Okay, you don't have to take everything off to replace them. All you got to do is take the coolant, just this overflow tank out, the cover off, and you should be able to replace them right here. You don't need to take the radiator out or anything. So that should be pretty simple. So I hope this video, at least with the other videos that are on YouTube, sort of supplement some of the knowledge that you already have from watching them. Well, let's end the video. Have a nice day, and if you like the content, please like and subscribe. So those were the cam covers I was talking about. Okay, so I've run the engine, bled it, so it's not leaking, so it's very good. I check these once in a while though, maybe every oil change or something. Check these cam caps. It's pretty easy to check. It's just 4 bolts. You don't need to take anything off. Just the timing cover, just four bolts here. You can take it straight off from here.